Welcome to Shas Illuminated. Please enjoy the following shiur.
We are beginning tonight's shiur in Siman Tov Kuf Ayin. We are up to Sif Beis. We are on the 6th line of page 92. The Mechaber says in Sif Beis, Hanoder lehisanos b'Shabbos v'Yom Tov ve'erev Yom HaKippurim v'Chanukah u'Purim. A person who made a neder that he's going to fast on Shabbos or Yontif or Erev Yom Kippur or Chanukah or Purim, Dino shave l'noder l'hisanos kach v'kach yomim ve'eru behem yomim halalu. Says the Mechaber, he has the same din as one who is noder to fast for a certain amount of days, and then these special days fell out during the days where he was going to fast. That was what we just learned in Halacha Aleph, that if a person is noder a certain amount of days, and during one of those days it falls out that it's Shabbos or Yontif, etc., so we discussed the dinim over there, and if it was a real Lashon Neder, we said he must fast, unless he's Matir Neder. So here the Mechaber tells us the same thing, that one who makes a neder to fast specifically on Shabbos, Yontif, or any of these days, he has the same din. And now the Mechaber reviews what we discussed in Halacha Aleph, Im hotzio b'lashon neder, dino k'mekabel Allah b'lashon neder. If he accepts upon himself b'lashon neder to fast on Shabbos, Yontif, Erev Yom Kippur, Chanukah, Purim, so then it has the same din as him being noder as a neder for various days, and one of these special days falls out then, and the neder is chal. V'im hotzio b'lashon kabalas tainis ba'alma, dino k'mekabel b'lashon kabalas tainis. And if he's makabel these days specifically, not as a neder, but only as a lotion of kabbalas tainis, so then it will have the same thing we discussed in Halacha Aleph, when he's makabel stam kabbalas tainis for a number of days, and one of these special days fall out then with a neder, or the kabbalah is not chal at all. Says the Mishabura Sivkotin in Aleph Dino Shava Ratzlomer, means to say like we've been explaining, the afshe parat beferish elu hayomim, even though he specified specifically these days, mikol makom im hotzio b'lashon neder chal. Still, if he speaks it out in a lashon of a neder, then the neder will be chal. The neder chal af al dvar mitzvah kanal. Because as we discussed yesterday, a neder is chal on a dvar mitzvah, and therefore he would have to be matir neder. So all Sif Beis is doing in the Mechaber is adding this point that the Mishabura tells us, just following from Sif Aleph, where if a person accepted upon himself a number of days of fasting, and it clashes with the day you're not allowed to fast, so it depends how you expressed it, so it's the same thing if you express those days explicitly. Says the Mechaber Vaitis of Gimel, Im nishbal lehisanos koch v'koch yomim ve'eru behem yomim halalu. A person made a shvua. Here we're changing what we've been discussing in the Shulchan Aruch and Aleph and Beis, where it was discussing a Kabbalah, the Lashon Kabbalah's Tainus, or a Neder. Here we're discussing specifically a shvua. We touched upon it in the Mishabura yesterday, but here the Mechaber discusses the case of a shvua. So if a person made a shvua to fast a certain amount of days, and his shvua to fast clashes with some of these days that you're not allowed to fast, Hashvua chola aleihem mitam isra kolol. The shvua is still going to be chal on these days when you're not allowed to fast because of the isra kolol, which means that once you're makabel on yourself, b'loshen shvua, many days that you're fasting, so since some of them you are allowed to fast, so once it's chal for the other days that you are allowed to fast, so we'll throw in and we'll include also, will be kolol, the days that you're not allowed to fast as well, and that's when a shvua will be chal on the dvar mitzvah. Aval in nishbal lehisanos b'Shabbos or b'Yom Tov b'ferish. But if a person was mekabel b'loshen shvua to fast specifically on Shabbos or Yontif, then lo chola olav shvua. Then the shvua will not be chal at all. The ein shvua chola al dvar mitzvah, because as we know, a shvua is not chal on a dvar mitzvah. Rather, he will get malchus on the fact that he took a shvu ashav, and he will be able to eat right away. If he took a shvua to fast on Chanukah Upurim, then the shvua, which is the araisa, will be chal on the days of Chanukah Upurim, because there the isra of fasting is only midrabanan. The Ramah says, "V'yesh lahatir shvuaso ve'eno misane." One should be matir his shvua. He should get a hatar of his shvua, and he should not in fact fast. But the shvua is chal. Says the Mechaber, "V'niruli dehu adin l'rosh chodesh ve'erev Yom Kippur she'enan ela midrabanan." The same thing appears, says the Mechaber, not only Chanukah and Purim, but also Rosh Chodesh and Erev Yom Kippur. There also the Isra of Tainus only the Rabbanon. El Shemidivri Hai Rambam Nira Shehem Shal Torah. But from the words of the Rambam, it does appear that Rosh Chodesh and Erev Yom Kippur is different than Chanukah and Purim, and Rosh Chodesh and Erev Yom Kippur is the Araisa, and only Chanukah and Purim is the Rabbanon. That's really based on the Rambam that we saw on the top line of 92 in Sif Aleph, where the Rambam is mechalik between all days versus Chanukah and Purim, specifying that they're only midrabanan. Says the Mishabura Sevkatan Yudbeis Mitam Isra Kolo, we said if a person makes a general Lashon Shvua on many days together, and included in those days is a Shabbos or Yontef, etc., the Shvua is Chal on those special days, because since it's Chal on all the other days, so it's also Chal on this day. Shekolal b'Shavua, so Gam Yom Macherim, he also included in his Shvua other days as well. The year of Lahatir Shavua, so once again, he should see to it that he gets a Hatara for his Shavua. Sivkatan Yudgimel Dehu Adin L'Rosh Chodesh, like the Mechaber ended off and said, not only Chanukah and Purim, which is the Rabbanon, so the Shvua D'Oraisa will be Chal on it, so too Rosh Chodesh and Erev Yom Kippur. Pirish Shemasha Osir L'Anos B'Emu D'Rabbanon. That which it is usher to fast on Erev Yom Kippur and Rosh Chodesh, that's what the Mechaber means, it's the Rabbanon. V'lochein Cholo HaShavua, that's where the Shvua is Chal. Sivkatan Yudalad is going on that which the Mechaber says at the very end, that from the Rambam it appears that not fasting rather on Rosh Chodesh and Erev Yom Kippur is the Araisa. V'ayim b'Magen Avram shemachriya. Look in the Magen Avram, where he decides the Erev Yom Kippur ha'isr l'sanos b'hu the Araisa, that in fact on Erev Yom Kippur he goes like the Rambam that the Isra to fast is the Araisa, but Rosh Chodesh hu the Rabbanon, but in Rosh Chodesh is the Rabbanon, there he goes like the Mechaber. V'chein das hagra v'be'uro the Rosh Chodesh hu the Rabbanon, so too in the Bir Hagra, he also goes with the Mechaber, l'gabe Rosh Chodesh, and says the Isra of fasting there is only with the Rabbanon, and that concludes Siman Tov Kuf Ayin. And now we begin Siman Tov Kuf Ayin Aleph, the very bottom of the page on 92. The Mechaber says in Sef Aleph Hayoshev b'Tainus, one who is sitting at a Tainus, he optionally accepts upon himself a fast day. Im yochol lizbol a-Tainus nirka kodesh. If a person who is makabel a Tainus is able to handle a Tainus, so then it's a great thing to do. He's called a kodesh. V'im lav, but if he's not able to handle it, kigon she'enu bari v'chazak, for example, he's not healthy, he's not strong, then he's nikra chote, then he's called a sinner. Says the Mishabura Sevkatan Aleph Nikra Kadosh, if he can help, if he is able to handle the fast, he is called a Kadosh, Shemito Kach Mismarkin Avonosa B'Shvil Shemisana. Because if he's able to handle it, Lamaisa, his Averos will get erased because he is fasting. It is a very good thing. V'lo Mari Ba'avonos HaYeduim, this is not discussing known Averos HaMavur B'Rokeach U'Bekisvei Ha'ari Kama Yomim Tzarech L'Anos Aleihim. This is not discussing in this sif the averos that a person does, that it's well known how many days you have to fast to get kapara for that avera. The bezet tzarich l'sanos afilu lo motzi l'tzurei nafshei. Because then you need to get kapara for that chait, so you have to fast anyway, even if you can't handle the tzar. Elamari kishemisane mishum tshuva. Rather, we're discussing someone over here who is fasting purely because of tshuva al avono sha'odam dosh ba'akevav. It's because of the averos that a person tramples with his heel. A person is not machshav those averos, and that a person decides he wants to do tshuva and he wants to fast to get kapara for those averos. That is a great thing. But again, the Mishaburu is saying that if you're fasting for averos that are known how many days you have to fast, so you're just doing what you have to do, even if it's difficult for you and you're not able to really handle it so well, you must fast. You're not called a kadosh. A kadosh is a person who's fasting on averos that a person is normally dash ba'akeva if he doesn't take them so seriously, and this person wants to do tshuva for those averos, so there, it's a great thing. Sivkatan Beis goes on the last point of the Mechaber, if he's not able to handle the fast, and he's makabel a fast for these averos that a person is dash ba'akevav, then he's called a chote. Sakta Mishabura al shemachlish kochosav. He's called a chote because he's weakening his powers. He's weakening his energy. The kosu b'sifrei musar. The sifrei musar write, if a person, while he is eating, while he still has a taiva to eat, moshech yodo mimenu, he pulls his hand back from eating, zen nechshav gamkein l'siguf u'meskapim avonosov. That's already called the siguf, and that's a kaparas avonos, even without fasting, or b'dafko, as we'll see, without fasting, but a person who's in the middle of eating, he wants to eat more, and he stops himself midway, So that is a kapara. If you look at note number 70, it points out, V'hanoeg kain, one who is knowing this way, Rabbeinu Yonah writes in the Yesod HaTshuva, Shezocher bekach avas habore, he remembers the love of Hashem, Yoser me'ayoshe b'tainis pa'am v'shavua, more than a person who sits and he fasts once a week. She'miniach mita'avosav l'kavod habore, because he's holding back his own taiva for the honor of Hashem, b'chol pam she'ochel v'shoseh, every time he is eating and drinking. V'od b'maylas ha'mesalek yodo me'achilu shesiyah kashu toiv l'kach b'yoser. And further, in terms of the milas of a person who holds his hand back from eating and drinking when he still desires it, Kasu ha'magin me'isharim v'apelayoet she'nechshav ki'ilu makrav korban is considered as if he has brought a korban. V'shulchanu hu k'mizbeach l'zboach alav es ha'yetzahara. And his shulchan is like a mizbeach to be shechting on it, the yetzahara. So great things are said about a person who holds back in the middle of his achila from some of his taiva, and he doesn't eat till he is full. Continues the Mishabura in the second line of Sekot and Beis. V're'isi kosa b'sefer echad. Says the Chavetz Chaim, I saw brought down in one sefer, Shekisha Adam Rotze L'hisnadev Tainus, a person who wants to voluntarily accept upon himself a Tainus, Tov Yoser She'ikabel Tainus Min Adibur. It is better that he should accept upon himself a tainus from talking. Mimashi yekabel olav min ha'achila, more than accepting upon himself a tainus from eating. Ki mimenu lo yelo nezek, because through a tainus dibur he will not damage lo begufo, not his body, velo benishmaso, not his neshama, velo yechlosh ayidezeh, he will not weaken through that, and therefore it's better to makabel tainus dibur than a regular tainus achila. Ukein zeh kosav hagra bigarto, and so to the Gra writes in his letter, shetzarech ha'adam liaser atzmo lo b'tainus v'sigufim, ki im beresem piv u'betavosav v'zeu hatshuva v'chuli. Says the Gra, a person who wants to miyaser himself, he shouldn't do it through tanesim and sigufim, rather he should do it by muzzling his mouth and stopping to speak and controlling his taivas. That ends of Aleph, and Mitzvah Shem will continue with the next year with Sid Beis.
You have been listening to a shiur from shasilluminated.org. For other shiurim on many topics, or to hear an Iyun shiur on any daf in Shas, including Mareh Mekomos on each shiur, please visit www.shasilluminated.org. To order CDs or for more information, please call 203-312-SHAS. That's 203-312-7427, or email info@shasilluminated.org.